All right, aloha, Love Tribe. Guess what? So we are doing the first video version of the Big Dream School podcast. I'm going to start playing around with this because as a creatrix, I want to figure out some cool ways to deliver you meaningful, awesome content. So this is the first of that. So do you guys ever feel once in a while like you're just so fucking horny that you just want to like hump a tree? Okay, I do. And I'm going to share some seriously personal stuff with you guys on this podcast. It's a big one for me. And I imagine a lot of us go through a lot of this in our lives. And so I just want to share it with you. And it's about sex. And it's about sometimes we can get obsessed with sex and sometimes we can get out of alignment and out of whack, right? There are obviously levels of healthy sexuality. There's levels of sexual shame. There's levels of sexual empowerment. And, you know, with this Big Dream School podcast, the whole idea is, you know, learning about ourselves, how we can hack ourselves to become the best versions of ourselves so that we can live our big dream that's in alignment with the big dream of the planet, you know, which is for all life to co-thrive in delicious harmony. And for me, I feel like, you know, learning about the SDGs is such a big thing, not STDs, dude, SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And so what we do each week is, of course, you know, learn about one. And, you know, this is not exactly analogous, but it sort of is. So the partnerships, number 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals is about partnerships to achieve the goals. And so I'm kind of dissecting that a little bit and pulling it and making it about our intimate partnerships I've got a little series that we're doing right now about intimacy and how it can certainly contribute to you thriving in your big dream, and it can completely derail you. And for me, I have been a hermit sexually for the last 2.5 years after my divorce. Pretty much. I had a couple little, you know, things going on, but nothing like total simple, nothing. And I recognized like, nope, bad idea. You're not ready. You just did this whole divorce thing and you need to go figure out who the hell you are and set some healthy boundaries and create your, you know, your fuck yeahs and your fuck nos and your must haves and your maybes and your desires. And so I actually started doing that about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And not with the intention of dating again, because that's too scary, but just with the intention of starting to think about it. And then sure enough, I met somebody and I thought, oh, we're just going to talk about music and maybe we're going to be like music making buddies, you know, and that's great. And I'm like, doors are closed, nothing, I'm closed for business. You know what I mean? We ended up having like a 6-hour phone call one night, our first phone call. And it was like, whoa, there's magic and it's so great and all this good stuff, right? All of my like standards and my fuck yeahs and fuck nos went straight out the door. And I was horny and I was lonely. And I'm like, wow, this would be fun. And so sure enough, I find myself entering into some form of an intimate relationship with this person who's a beautiful man, lovely man. But I didn't honor my boundaries and I didn't honor what I had set out to do originally. And so basically I allowed myself to be sideswiped because I didn't have strong enough healthy barriers and healthy boundaries out there. So this episode is about some boundaries, but it's about sex addiction and it's about how sex can take over your life, even if it's just for a month or even if it's just for a couple days or week, whatever it is. So it's a sensitive topic because there's definitely people out there who have genuine, deep problems with sex and sex addiction. And, you know, they're watching pornography 5 hours a day or, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. When I was in rehab, I met people who were in there for sex addiction. And I was like, that's a thing? I had no clue. And so now I know. And for me, what I recognize for myself is that, you know, when our brain starts to go offline and starts to spin and think about something, whether it's sugar, whether it's, you know, alcohol, whether it's sex, whether it's shopping, you know, whether it's football, whether it's, you know, any of that stuff, it's like we're jumping into this addictive cycle and it can be very destructive and it can hurt our families and it can hurt our health, obviously, all these different things. So this episode really is about the booty call versus your soul call. And when you go into a relationship, are you going in with the idea of enhancing your soul and elevating your dreams and nourishing your, your higher self? Or are you just going in there with the pure animalistic part? And obviously there's a combination of both, that's the ideal, because, the animal part is yummy, and the soul part is fulfilling and juicy. And so, it's a big deal. A lot of us go around and we're just like, oh, and I haven't set up a Tinder profile or anything yet. I haven't set up any of that dating stuff. And I'm like terrified. Oh my God. Oh God. But there's this part of me that got awakened, and God bless this man. He helped reawaken my sexuality that I've been protecting for so long. And now it's time for me to get legit with how I'm going to go out there and explore that in a sacred way. But, it's interesting. There's, the National Council on Sexual Addiction Compulsivity says that there's 6 to 8% of Americans are sex addicts. That's about 18 to 24 million people. Holy cow, And what is the definition of a sex addict? Well, let me tell you up here. It's when you have lack of control, lack of restraint about your thoughts, your urges, and your behavior around sex. And it starts causing problems. You're going to strip clubs, you're, having sex with strangers, you're having prostitutes, cyber sex, phone sex, you're cheating on your partners, meaningless affairs, all those things. And so, for me, I started thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm starting like this relationship that was just in the works. I started thinking about it a lot, and, and we had sex and it was great and it was super fun. But then I started like just thinking about it all the time. And then I'm like, oh no, I don't want to be that. Because I'm like, I don't have time for a relationship. I'm busy. I'm starting the big dream school. I've got my kids and I don't have time for this, But as soon as it happened, it was just this like, oh, that's all I want, And then I was like, nope, that's my addictive brain going into full overdrive. And because my nervous system's out of whack. And so it was a big deal. And I was really surprised at myself because I thought that I was like, oh, I'm so badass. I got this. Don't have it. And so this is where the Dumpy McDumperson episode came previously about, the art of getting dumped. And I just realized like, wow, I had all these great intentions and I didn't do any of them going into this. But did you guys ever feel that way? Like you think like, okay, the next relationship, I'm going to be so like check boxes. And if they don't meet the check boxes, forget it. And then, as soon as there's like a little twinge, you're just like, well, it's okay. And you start making compromises for the person just because you want whatever that nugget of chemical reaction is that's going on for you when you get that connection with that person sexually and intimately. And so, they say that, I don't do internet sex, but they say it's like crack cocaine for people's brains, and they're just getting and constantly getting this feeding mechanism. And that's super dangerous. Right. So, for me, the song of the week is called, here you go. Where is it? Other way. Soul Searcher, Can't Get Enough. It's a great track. And you got to listen to it. So it's in the show notes, but it's called Soul Searcher, or the group is Soul Searcher and Can't Get Enough. It's Mark Pomeroy and Thea Austin on vocals. But, the making love to you is a habit. I just got to have it. That's one of the lyrics in the track. And I think it's such a powerful message because it's one of those like, oh, I'm so much, I'm in that passion love with you and I just got to have it. And then it's like, don't even think about leaving me. That's like the follow up on that lyric. And like, what the heck, right? Like, I'm sure many of you, most of us have had that experience when you're in that lust and that, I got to have it. Like, I need more. I can't wait to like jump on you. And that's so yummy, right? And when it starts going out sideways and you're just obsessing about it and you're thinking about it, and I don't know how it is for men, but I know for women, we get more emotionally attached with men. And I think men energetically can detach easier. And when I was doing Kundalini yoga teacher training, I remember one of the things they were talking about was when a man and a woman make love, that the man's cord attaches to a woman, and it takes I believe it was 7 years to come free from the cord. And I was like, fuck that. And they were saying the men, like when they, have an attachment with a woman, they can release that energetic attachment, in a week or something ridiculous, which I see that, right? You see gentlemen and men, they can go have sex and they're just like, yeah, whatever, cool. Whereas women were like, oh, I'm going to write his name down, all the stuff you did when you were a schoolgirl. And so I don't know what that exact energy is. And so I think it's something to definitely dive into as a separate episode. But I certainly felt the hooks in me. And I certainly felt like I have been doing so much energy clearing and chopping. And that's a whole nother episode as well, like how to do cord cutting and how to release internal hooks that people have in you, whether it's sexual or familial or ancestral, whatever. And so that's a whole nother episode. But it's really remarkable how quickly you can go against what you think are your principles and your standards and your values because you got some of that, you got that hit, you got that yumminess. And so I did that. I fell off my sexual sobriety wagon. And it's like I didn't go out and have sex with other people. It was just this one person, but it was just very evident to me, like I'm not ready for a relationship yet because I still have a lot of boundary setting and work to do on that part. So we're going to talk about that in the next episode about boundaries and who are you and what's your jam and how to attract a really cool partner. So this is going to be a fun little series that we're doing. But the idea, the experiment of the week is about, checking in with yourself before you go have random acts of sex, right? Or, just the booty call. I'm not saying not to go do that. I would never tell you guys that. Are you doing this for, just sexual pleasure? Go for it. Fuck yeah, do that. Or is this something that's like, am I filling my vessel up with nourishment and energy so that I can go focus on my big dream and focus on the big mission of the planet and myself? And so I think it's an interesting one, and it's kind of weird, I think, and kind of edgy, but and I'll do another one on masturbation, which is huge. So, and energy cultivation through that. That's like, I have a serious cool practice to share with you guys. You're going to shit. It's so cool. But how does somebody who thinks they're so strong and who thinks they're so like, got it together, look at me. How does somebody like that fall off because they're getting like a little bit of connection? And so, checking in with ourselves before we go do the swipey Tinder thing, which I think you swipe it. And, before we do all of that, is this for my highest good? Or is this something that's a lower vibrational thing and I'm just meeting an animal requirement, which is fine too. But, if we really are these big dream jockeys, which I believe we are, and I believe I am, how do we stay on track with that? How do we make sure that the partnership that we are entering into, even if it's just for a night, is in alignment? Because what happens, again, you have mental real estate, right? You only have so much of it. And so if the next day your mental real estate is spent spinning around this person and you're not focusing on your project, your dream, your mission, is it serving you? Can you compartmentalize that obsession about something or someone else, and still stay on track? So that's healthy, right? Unhealthy, obsess, spin, go out of your center, and so that's what happened to me, guys. And so I felt really humbling, like super humbling to get to have that experience. So I'm always grateful for what spirit puts in my path, because I think it's always divinely aligned and it's always there to teach me something, even if I don't learn the lesson in the moment. Like I'll eventually get the lesson, right? So yeah, I want to see what you guys can do this week on, thinking about your sexual purpose, even if you're married. It doesn't have to be like a, stranger booty call kind of thing. It really could be like, am I just having sex with my partner to like check the box and say I fucked him tonight? Or am I really like, is this going to nourish my soul? Is this nourishing my big dream? Is this going to feed me? And am I going to have fulfillment from it? And is my partner going to have fulfillment from it? Or am I going to feel depleted? Am I going to feel used? Am I going to feel unsatisfied? And then I'm going to spin around feeling like shit around that encounter. And so whether it's with yourself, whether it's with your partner, your lover, whether it's with, your booty call person, whether it's a random person, I know that it's hard because we want that sexual connection. It's fucking awesome. That's how we all are here on the planet, because it's such a yummy, powerful, it's the most potent creative force, obviously. Do you want to move forward on the big dream and take that sexual power forward with you as one of your tools, and I do. And I know I have a lot of learning to do. So I'm starting to seek some support on that. And I'm going to start doing some training on myself with, other people who have a lot more experience than I do, on, sexual magic and how to use it to be in my power, and how to use it to take that power and move it forward on the planet. So this is going to be really fun. And I've got some special guests coming up. You guys are going to love them. And they're a relationship coach, and one is a pelvic floor superstar woman coach. So it's really neat that we've got a lot of opportunities to dive into how we can use our relationships to further the big dream. So, yeah, I'm super excited for this one. And so for me, I'm starting to do like a what are you thankful for, so that when our Thankful Thursdays come out, like, why am I thankful that this lesson happened to me? Right. And I'm going to be asking our guests that question as well. And I'm thankful for this lesson because what comes to my mind the biggest is so that I can teach my daughter and my son about it, and hopefully share it with you guys. And of course, not make the same stupid mistakes and go sideways for 30 days, which is fine. I think it was 28 days, maybe. I think 28 days of whatever. And it wasn't even that big of a deal, but it was definitely like, it took up the mental real estate. And I don't want that. I do, but I want it to be healthy, and it wasn't healthy. So that's what my gratitude is. Like, I'm grateful that I learned this lesson so that I could share it with my children and they don't have to make the same mistakes. And I know that's going to be a lot of my gratitudes for all these lessons, but I really am excited for you guys to learn about this stuff. If you do think you struggle or you might have a sexual addiction, no shame, dude. It's totally dude or dudess, it happens. It's like 25 million Americans. That's a lot, right? So you're not alone. You're not some weirdo, pervert. You're just somebody who has a certain amount of energy that you want to take care of. And, a lot of people who do have true sex addiction have been abused as children. They have different psychological situations that have caused them to seek out comfort and support through sexuality, and seek out power through sexuality. So, you're not alone, you're not broken, and there's help. And, the sooner you raise your hand to say, like, do I have a problem? The sooner you can get support, and the sooner you can get on to rocking your big dreams. Okay. And no shame, like, raise your hand. And I know it's hard because I don't want to raise my hand for the stuff I got going on, but man, the sucker is up because I got a lot of things happening here. But there's an organization called Sexaholics Anonymous, and you can reach out to them. There's, lots of help out there for everybody who needs it. So feel into it. You got this, guys. And, let's remember that we're here together, and every single human on the planet is struggling with something. I guarantee you, we are all addicted to something. We are all going through one version of a mental health scenario, whether it's overwhelm, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whether it's loss and grief, whether it's anger, whether it's feeling disempowered, and maybe hopeless, powerless. Like, there's some version of that going on for every single human on the planet. And fear, of course. And having compassion and learning that, hey, we all got something going on. We have no clue what's going on behind the doors for everybody. So my goal is to hopefully get people to rise up, raise their hand, and open their hearts more to have more compassion for each other, because you just don't even know what's going on over in your neighbors, in their real estate up there, in their minds. But all right. So everybody, this is awesome. I love you to pieces. And thanks for giving this a try. I'm going to try to see how this, video podcast stuff goes. I kind of like it so far. And we'll, of course, convert this. It'll be audio as well. So let's do it. And I love you guys. Go to the website. You can get the dream sheets for your weekly experiment. And again, remember, the weekly experiment is about asking yourself, does this sexual act right now, this booty call, as it were, is this serving my soul? Is this serving my higher mission? And I think it's so funny because like Soul Searcher is the name of the artist, their group, their collaboration for the song. And so it's perfect. And this is like the second song in my record box out. I have it out now, but I love the song so much. It makes me happy. So check it out and I'll talk with you soon. And so until next time, from my heart to yours, peace, love, and aloha. What's up?